How are we doing? So today's video, I thought I would just give my thoughts on mental health, mental wealth, mental illness, mental disorder. With, as I stated in previous videos, my mental health is always up for debate from other people, telling me how I am and what I'm suffering from, and because I act a certain way that I must be crazy. That I must have some sort of mental illness because I'm reacting in the way that I'm reacting. And I just thought I've done, honestly, I've done so much research into emotions, brain development, how kids' brains develop, what happens to our brains in different circumstances, what are our emotions, what are our feelings, and honestly, the amount of people that I have observed over the years, honestly, I could write so many books. So many books. And I'm not just listening to the words that come out of their mouths. I'm watching their eyes. I'm watching their lips. I'm listening to the sound of their voice when they say certain things. I'm watching their body language when they say certain things. Like, I've always, since I was little, been interested in people, obsessed with people. And I still am obsessed with people. Now, I always wanted to be a zoologist when I was a kid, and I was always told that I wouldn't want to do it for numerous reasons. But like, looking back at my life, I've spent so much of my time and my energy being exactly that. But my animal of choice has always been humans. And I have studied diligently and taken notes, and I've always liked history. I've always liked biographies, just anything to do with people. It massively interests me. Why we do the things we do, why we've done the things we've done, why just everything. So in my early 20s, I committed suicide. And when I was given a second chance, that was my catalyst to start working out why I was doing the things that I was doing. So that's a long time ago. What is that? That's 15 years ago. Should we say 15 years ago? 15 years ago. Let's just put a figure on it. 15 years of studying myself, and trying to break down and work out why I do the things that I do and why I've done the things that I've done. And in all the research that I've done and scientific as well as case studies, reading books. And the conclusion that I've come to is that no one actually can really tell you about your mental health, because your mental health is governed by your feelings and emotions, which are in fact frequencies of vibration in your body, trapped in your body. So how can anybody tell you about what that feels like? And that's a real simplified, broken down my explanation about what's going on with your mental health. So say, for example, someone was sitting in front of me saying that they were suffering from anxiety. I would say that obviously that's a constant worry of the future. But why would someone constantly worry about a future if something had not have happened to them in the past that made them feel unsafe? So what are we addressing? Are we addressing the fact that they keep referring to the future, or do we refer to the past? And that's something that happened to them in the past that made them feel unsafe. And in what varying degrees is this? Like anxiety, we refer to that horrible feeling that you get in your belly, that nervous belly, as anxiety. But then someone who literally wrings their hands to bits and pulls all their nails off is also anxiety. So it's a very, very broad subject. And obviously the pendulum swings in both ways of seriousness and not so serious. But to that person, it's very serious. Like, regardless of how we agree with that person, whether it's serious. Do you get where I'm going? Like, for example, if someone's not being able to go to work because they feel so full of anxiety, that's stopping them from earning, it's stopping them from making friends, like instantly they're quite serious. But to somebody else, they're still managing to look after themselves, they're still washing, they're still cleaning, they're still self-sufficient, they can still order the shopping online, they're retiring into a hermit kind of condition. But to somebody else it's not that serious because they're not in any harm. They're still managing to go about their day to day. But obviously to that person it's extremely serious not being able to work. Like, that's a humongous thing. Not being able to keep up with friends, that's a humongous thing. Like, we have this thing within us where we have to decide, or we have to clarify, agree how somebody else feels for it to be real. And with mental health, there's absolutely no way in God's green earth that another person could feel that person's mental health, illness, whatever you want to call it. And for example, depression, for me, I've had really very, very, very low, obviously leading to me taking my life twice. Now, depression is very much a future-based mental illness. What are we calling it? Mental illness. That you worry, that you're not feeling good enough to do the things that you do. You're worried about tomorrow. Nothing's going to change. This sort of feeling when really what's happening in depression is that you're actually slowing down time. Now, I see, this is where it's going to get, my descriptions might get a little bit complicated. The next video I'm going to do is all about jumping timelines. So this video and the next video will sort of be like a little bit of a pair. So depression, hold on, where can I start? So time, to me, is energy, is a form of energy. Exactly the same as everything else. Time is an illusion. It's a state of energy that we put our numbers to give us a measure of that time. Now, there's a saying, if you're really having a good time, time goes really quickly. So obviously the frequency is high and time goes really quickly. If you're having a really boring time and you're not very happy, then time goes very slow. That's a frequency. Depression is exactly the same. So what depression does is it slows time right down and puts time into a low frequency, a low vibe. Everything is drawn out. And the reason why we do that is because we are worried about the future. So we slow time down. We don't want tomorrow to come. We want to lie in bed all day. We don't want to go and see people. We don't want to be around people because we are in a low frequency, a low vibe. When we're in anxiety, the reason why our whole body vibrates and our chest beats and we get the rapid breathing and we feel is because time is going so fast. And we can't get enough done in that time because it's going really fast. Yeah? So once we start going to the root of what's actually happening with the frequency, i.e. our emotions and our feelings, what are happening at that time, once we go back to that and start addressing those, then we can start slowing time down or speeding time up as of necessary. And I'll just talk about bipolar as well, because I feel like time demonstrates what this is as well. So I, when I was trying to have children for a very, very long time, for years and years and years, and the doctors were telling me my reality, that I couldn't have children. And then I had my reality where I knew that I could have children, I just needed help. What it did, it created two timelines, two realities within me as a person. And because some people that I was also around were, saying, the doctors have said this, 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 the doctors have said this. This timeline, which wasn't my reality, was getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger because more people were putting into that timeline, right? That's not my reality. This is my reality. Yeah. So because more people were agreeing with this timeline, this imaginary thing that the doctors have said, you can't have children unless you have this medication. This is what created two timelines within me as a person. And I believe this is what bipolar is. This is how people become separated. They live two different lives. Because more people around them, and they're listening to that person's reality and they're fighting against two different realities. This is where bipolar comes in. And everybody is, not everybody, but most people are denying this reality, the actual reality that lives inside this person, this frequency, because this is where it comes from, inside. This is the story that you're telling. Stories are frequencies, narratives are frequencies. I hope I'm not confusing too many people, but this is the simplest way that I can show. I'll get it on paper tomorrow. But yeah, so if someone's denying this reality that's inside you and giving you another reality to live by that's outside of you, you start becoming disjointed with self. Yeah? So you're living somebody else's reality. And this happens to honestly, I think that this is affecting so many people at the moment because they're not listening to the internal dialogue that's going on inside them. And this outside dialogue comes from friends, family, whoever, and these people are constantly denying the actual internal what's going on, and it sends people crazy. But they're not crazy, they're just not being listened to, they're not being heard. When you deny somebody else's reality, that's what happens. That's the real simple term of what happens. And when people are reaching out with these mental health problems, we have this thing where we need to validate it or not. In most, the case may be. And this starts to split the person even more because, say for example, somebody's going to a friend and say, I'm really worried about this. It's causing me a lot of anxiety, and I don't know what to do about it, blah 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 blah. And then the other person says something along the lines of, "Oh, don't worry about it. It'll be all right. There's nothing to worry about. That is the start of denying that person's feelings, emotions, reality. And then obviously the next person that person goes to, and that's why you find a lot of people shut down very, very quickly and won't talk, because they have actually talked, and the person or persons that they have spoken to have tried to deny their reality for one reason or another. So therefore it shuts that person down. That frequency can't exit the body. And we're not taught as a society or as children to deal with these trapped frequencies inside us. And that's where we get dis-ease from. Disease. If you are in pain, then you're probably not dealing with your emotions. You can do loads of research into this. I have, and it's really, really interesting, and it's quite simple, to be fair. Each different organ in the body pretty much is a sponge for a different emotion. Same with your muscles. For example, I'll tell you, since I have had my little boy, my hips are so incredibly tight, like incredibly. And your base chakra, your root chakra, is at the bottom of your spine, and it's to do with safety, stability. And since having my little boy, I've not felt safe. I've not been in a stable situation, and it's tightened my hips. There's a lot of tension in my hips, and I'm always flexing and stretching, trying to get them to release, because if you think about like your legs being open, it's a very vulnerable position to be in. So that's why your body tightens up, because your body is not relaxed. It's not in a safe position. Same with a lot of men that have been in and out of my life suffer from lower back pain. If you look that up, that's guilt, it's resentment, it's grief. A lot of men don't know how to process their emotions. So I know a hell of a lot of men, and a few women actually, that massively suffer with their lower back. People that have really tight shoulders and pain in their shoulders and neck, that's responsibilities. So they're just a couple of things. Go and do your own research. If you are in pain, then it is more than likely trapped emotion than it is to be anything else. And even with sports injuries and stuff like that, there's plenty of research to say that it's emotion rather than actually physical. I'm going to do a whole other video about the physical body, because it's just humongous, and it's so bloody interesting, like amazing. And once you start learning about your physical body and literally how amazing it is, yeah, I'm going to do another video about that real soon, because it will just blow your mind. If you're suffering from really bad headaches and migraines, that is, I believe, with the understanding and the research that I have done, that is trauma. That is memory trauma. That's what I believe that to be. That is a hell of a lot of rage, unprocessed rage, that is causing migraines. That's what I believe it to be, because I used to get migraines all the time. Like all the time. I can't even remember the last time that I had a migraine. Let me finish off this video. Yeah, so moving forward in the journey of healing. Healing is like a spring that's been screwed to the wall, and all that we're doing with every single turn of this screw is just to undo the pressure of this tightly compact bullshit that we live under in. And what you'll find is that the healing journey goes round and round and round and round. So some of the videos I will almost repeat, but in try to do it in a different way, because what you'll find is that you'll do things in layers. So you'll go from acceptance, accountability, straight to forgiveness, and then think I'm healed, and then something will pop up and you'll go back round to the start again. So yeah, so some of the videos might sound a little bit repeaty, but in regards to this video, have a look out for tomorrow's, because it will make sense. And just to close off, nobody on this planet, not even a scientist who studied brain function and, I don't know, therapy all their lives, will know exactly what is going on inside your body. Only you have the power, the real power, to understand what is going on with you right now. It's not anybody else's responsibility to understand that. There's people there to help you understand it, but it's your responsibility to understand yourself right at this moment, and it's your responsibility to help yourself. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do everything by yourself. That's not, I'm here. I will help. Whatever you want to talk about, even the darkest depths of the weirdest things that you could possibly think of, that you will think that people will hate you for, you can come and talk to me about that, because nothing is taboo here. I am completely open. I will welcome you with both arms. I am a complete safe space for anything that you need, and if I can't help you, I will direct you into a place that somebody can. And I'll just say this: don't always think that a professional is going to save you. That's not how it works. They're a professional in a field, which is a tiny, tiny, tiny fragment of what might be going on with you at this precise moment in time. It took you years to get here. It's going to take you a while to get out. So don't think that 6 sessions with a therapist is going to cure you. That's not how it works. Get reading. The best advice that I can give anyone with their mental health and well-being and is to learn. Read yourself. And if you don't like reading, listen to podcasts. Listen to people talking about their own mental health and their own mental well-being, because you will learn so much about yourself in other people. And that was the best experience for me, was talking to people, listening to people, finding out why people do the things that they do, because then you learn more about yourself. I hope this helps, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more.